up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. Today we're talking about the current situation in the game for late game players, where basically we've beaten the entire steel path. If you want to keep farming, you're pretty much forced to fight low-level enemies again, even though you've proven yourself to be, having good builds and good gear and all that stuff. I think that the content islands need to basically converge at some point. And we're going to go over that. We're also going to talk about my experience in the last week that sparked these thoughts. That I mean, it's not like it's new information. Yeah, no end game 9 years in. Lol. Like, you've probably heard that a million times, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more today. So make sure you're subbed to the YouTube channel and all that. Make sure you check the live stream channel as well to see when we go live. We've been doing a lot of live streams lately. And yeah, it's going to be a lot. If you are not a late game player, this might not even make any sense to you at all what I'm talking about, but I'm sure most things I say don't make any sense to you if you're an early game player anyway. So either way, let's get into it. We're going to start talking about these Steel Path content islands. All right, so first off, I've been playing this game for a long time. A lot of you guys have probably been playing the game for a long time too. We know how these things, we have experience with DE at this point. We know how the updates go. We know what they prioritize. We've seen the updates over the years. We've seen the Steel Path update. We've seen the Railjack update, Liches, etc., Jovian, Concord, blah, blah, blah. So we kind of have a good idea of like what is going on and what people want to do as far as other players. At least I do as a content creator. I see what a lot of people like to do. They say what they want, what they, what their favorite mission is, their favorite frame and all that. So we're 9 years in here. We just had the 9th year anniversary event still going on right now. And there is still no end game. If you think about it, what is endgame in Warframe? Is it fashion framing in your ship? Because that's not actual gameplay to me. So that's not what I qualify as endgame. But I think each player has their own definition of it. But I think we need some actual DE-created endgame here. So we've currently got the Steel Path on the screen right here. I guess you could kind of call this endgame because the way I look at it is that these enemies on the Steel Path, they are like multiplied health and armor. Like if you have a really good build loadout, this is where you can use it. But here's where we run into a problem. The Steel Path is only the base star chart versions of these missions. So the content island portion of this rant is starting right now. You look at these missions I have access to. Okay, I'm on the Steel Path. Increased resource drop chance, mod drop chance, enemy level, all this stuff. Hey, looks pretty good. The normal version, It just minus all that stuff. The enemies are complete like babies. They're like ants, like completely worthless ants and insects on the normal path. But here's where we run into the issue. Okay, plus 100 levels on the Steel Path. I've been playing this all week. I'm geared up my mind. My Hildren's got 5,000 shields. I got a red crit, Jack Kusar. I'm destroying everything. Oh wait, Garuda Prime just came out. All right, let's open up Garuda Prime Relics, and it's a level 9 spy mission. That sounds too like what? Level 9? I just killed level like 500 in one hit. I've been doing that all day. What do you mean level 21? The highest level being 60 to 70, and this doesn't even give you prime parts. So a big part of loot in this game are fissure missions, the missions you're looking at right here. A lot of the loot that you get from missions actually is relics to open in these missions that you see right here. But these missions are outdated. Like, we need Steel Path fissures. I have been mowing down stuff. I'm just speaking like this is a hypothetical situation. Me as a late game player has been mowing down level 300, 500 Grenier for months. I mean, Steel Path came out like over a year ago. And I've been mowing down Acolytes, I've been mowing down Grenier, I've been mowing down Demolus. I never want to ever look at level 10 enemy ever again. And that's where I think that we should be getting these Steel Path fissures. Things you can do to make these Steel Path fissures potentially enticing, because I know there are a couple, problems with implementing things of that nature. One of them is going to be, matchmaking issues. There's like, 10 fissures available right now, and in between all those fissures, there's probably like, a couple thousand players as far as, matchmaking pool. A lot of those guys might not even be playing those missions. They might be doing something else. And then you got another Steel Path version of this. That's the entire matchmaking pool getting even split even further. So that's something you could potentially say is a problem with Steel Path fissures, making that worth the dev time. But the way I look at it is if I'm doing a Steel Path fissure, I ain't doing it in public matchmaking. If it's going to be in public matchmaking, maybe it would be like a capture mission. But if I'm doing like a Steel Path disruption in public, a fissure mission, I want to actually make sure I'm getting my relics open. I don't want the mission to fail. So I would probably end up doing that with like other players. So that's one big thing to me is I feel like that these content islands are intentionally designed to waste your time. If I want Steel Essence, I must play on the Steel Path. but there's no like convergence of different missions. I can't open a relic while I'm doing the Steel Path. So Steel Essence is a one spot only resource, and relics can only be opened in one spot as well. You technically can open them in Void Storms, but it's the same thing. There's no Steel Essence in Void Storms. Now let's take it even further. Let's say, okay, well I just unlocked RBs. I just unlocked the Steel Path. I need a Riven. I want my Riven to be stronger so I can kill these enemies faster. Let's do a Kuva mission. Well, you're also not in any luck because there's no Steel Path versions of these Kuva missions. These are just normal mode only. Level 80 to 100, level 25 enemies in your Steel Path, or in your Kuva Flood right here. So they can make these Steel Path as well, giving you a little bit of Steel Essence for your time. Let's say the Acolyte is guaranteed to appear on top of the Siphon. That could make these, that could make the matchmaking for these a lot more populated. If you do the Kuva Flood, guaranteed Acolyte spawn on the third Braid, destroying. He's trying to save the Kuva or something like that. Even arbitrations. These are missions that, are pretty good endo and time-wise for what you're getting out of it. But it's another thing. Level 60 to 80, normal enemies. No multiplied health, no multiplied armor. Basically, DE has made the Steel Path. It was made for YouTubers, by the way. They might deny that, but that's pretty much what they were saying in interviews. That they were mad people were in the Simulacrum doing all these weapon tests, and they made the Steel Path so that people would stop being in the Simulacrum for YouTube videos. It's not even a meme, guys. One of the developers did say that. But regardless, they made this. Some people enjoy it, some people hate it. I feel like a lot of the very entrenched players in the franchise, at this point, you're someone that will most likely enjoy the Steel Path. I mean, because everything else, I walk near them. The enemies are aware that my Hildren's in the level, and they die just by realizing my Hildren exists, My Saren nukes them from 3 rooms over just because I pushed one button, I am geared out of my mind. I never want to see a level 5 enemy ever again, like literally at all. I did a Lith Fissure Disruption the other day, and we were having a good amount of fun, but it took so long for the enemies not to just die by me looking at them. I was killing them with my Operator Amp up to like level 100. So it's no mystery that the game's balance is not exactly a masterpiece of engineering and technology and all that stuff, but that's at least, let people have their choices where they want to fight these bullet spongy enemies that, probably require really good builds. I feel like the Steel Path is too restrictive, and it's been long enough. We don't have any endgame. Making a place where I can utilize my crazy 5,000 Shield Hildren build and all this stuff is long overdue, because I feel like I'm wasting if I'm ever farming Steel Essence, air quotes farming it, I'm going to be doing it on the Kuva Fortress, because literally every other node in the star chart feels like a waste of time on the Steel Path. Maybe a couple disruption nodes because you're getting relics from beating those towers so quickly, and then getting some Steel Essence on top of that is pretty good if your damage is good enough to take care of all that stuff. But yeah, if you just look at it, the Steel Path is a waste of time. It was a waste of dev time. Now you can look at it as we eventually got the Steel Path Arcanes. That was not because of the Steel Path. That was because guns were weak compared to melee. I guess it technically was slightly because of the Steel Path, because people were playing the Steel Path, noticing guns were completely worthless, and they added the Arcanes afterwards. But, people are going to complain about guns being weak either way, in my opinion. So yeah, like I said, what I think they should do, add Steel Path RBs, arbitrations, to be clear, Fissure missions, even Requiem. I want Steel Path Kuva Survival Requiem. That would be freaking awesome. I want Steel Path arbitrations. The Sortie. So this is another one that's mega outdated. It's not even a content island, I'd call it. It's just it's so old. I don't even know when they added sorties, but they added them a long time ago. And this is just zero maintenance at all. When is the last time they changed this in the slightest, besides maybe a UI thing? Okay, what level are they? Level 50 Corpus units on Pluto. Now, to be fair, these guys have multiplied health and armor just like the Steel Path. But hey, you know what? Make it actually challenging. Make it a Steel Path sortie. So they got, 500% increased enemy shields and health. If you are crazy enough to go into the Steel Path sortie. We need missions in this game where it's no, that mission's not for everyone. If you need to be prepared if you're going to that Steel Path sortie. LV about to he about to have the Comorex or some Opticore Vandal instead of his normal baby gun that he has. Zanuka about to have a Kuva Ogress jetpack, Like, they need to do stuff like that. This was my recommendation over a year ago with the Steel Path. They took my recommendation and they twisted it, and they bottlenecked our Steel Essence and made it where Acolytes are the only thing that drops Steel Essence, a time-gated situation. So, yeah, it's just, I can't believe it. Other games out there, this is not even a question. They put Endgame together. It's like DE intentionally is like, no, this is what it is. Fashion Frame is what we want you to do. Go buy that Wisp skin. Go grind to level 30 for that Roomba. And you know what? A lot of these players, they buy it. They're like, oh, dude, did you see that Roomba at level 28, bro? You see that new Wisp skin? That's what a lot of these guys are like. The same people that say bringing back raids would be a bad idea. The same people that are just defeatists, want to just look at their Fashion Frame every single day. Those are the guys that that's who DE is happy about, because they can easily appeal to them because they'll take anything. They're the White Knights, as a lot of people call them. As a person that is not really down for that mindset, I feel like we need to be constantly trying to push ideas like this forward, where the game design is a mess. I know they're trying to make it mobile, and that's like the final shape of this game is mobile crossplay. Everything is mobile. You could just basically make everything lower value, because that's what happens over time too. They make these events where it's like, oh, Energize from Scarlet Spear or whatever. That lowers the price. You make Prime Resurgence as a cash grab, lowers the price. Not like I really care that much at this point personally, but they're really only looking out for themselves. And I really, really feel like that this is being treated poorly, extremely poorly. It's been treated poorly since the get-go. If you think about how terrible the Steel Path has been introduced, at first it was, Steel Essence. I don't think Steel Essence existed at first. Steel Essence existed after we said there was nothing to do. That was post the public test cluster. Steel Essence came from Eximus after a while. They buffed it because at first, I guess bug fixed it, because at first, resource drop chance boosters were not applying to Steel Essence, and that was an intended thing by DE, by the way. Someone looked in the game files and found that they're not working, and then they changed it afterwards. And then that became the Ophelia meta, where Ophelia and Odin, to be fair, where we were getting mega Steel Essence, and DE had to turn off the fire hose after a couple months. And now we're in the bottlenecked, crappy state we're in right now, where it's like 4 Steel Essence every 8 minutes. You get some from doing the alerts, technically. But yeah, I feel like they've kind of like ruined the Steel Path in some aspects and made it better in certain aspects. We need to expand it now, where if you are a late game player, you feel like you're not being you're not being insulted, where my mega power Hildren is not, I don't want to ever look at a level 9 enemy again, like I said earlier. Now, that's my personal opinion. Let me know how you guys feel down below. It was just kind of like some thoughts I had when I was doing a disruption the other day. Now, to be fair, we probably made like 500 plat from that disruption mission with all the good relics we opened. But I was thinking at the same time, it would be cool if I could like actually feel like I'm being challenged a little bit here too for my crazy builds and all that. Hey, maybe my Garuda build is not holding up against this. Oh, we hit level 700. My Garuda got one shot. I need to go change something. Things like that is what keeps people, excited and interested in your game. Like, oh, that nullifier did 2,000 damage in one bullet. I need to find out a way I can potentially counter that in the future. Instead of just, okay, well, the new thing's out. Time to go fight the level 10 enemies again that I've been fighting for the last 8 years. So, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you found the video helpful. New videos coming every day this week. We will have bingo and also potentially a dev stream live reaction on Friday. So, keep an eye on that on the live stream channel, guys. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you next time. Peace.